Hello indie game fans, January was a fantastic month of releases to kick off 2024 with the one game that dominated headlines that we have to talk about, but first let's begin with The Last Flame, somewhat of a throwback title since it's a roguelite auto-battler in the vein of games like Auto Chess and Teamfight Tactics, which had its heyday back in 2019, and oh god, it's been 5 years already, with this hitting all the right notes. You're selecting heroes and equipping them with loot and gear, having to discover and use synergistic builds so that you can destroy your enemies. It is rather content dense for an early access title, with more than 60 heroes to choose from, and also has 3 acts in the main roguelite campaign mode, plus an endless mode and more, with more of everything to be added through early access. I was pretty high on this title when previewing upcoming fighting games of 2024, in which First Cut Samurai Duel is a side-scrolling weapon fighter with both 1v1 competitive PvP mode as well as a story campaign, which is a smart move in my opinion. Like its inspiration in Bushido Blade, this is a one-hit kill fighting game in which a single strike can be lethal, so you have to be on your guard to block, parry and counter enemies. The pixel art is sick and has egregious blood splatter, but it's not all serious since there are fun bits like laser swords for example, and it's just a solid fighting game. After being delayed for a month, the Chinese action RPG Three Kingdoms Zhao released in January and is impressively pretty good. This tells the story of a character from the Three Kingdoms or San Guo historical novel of one of the 5 tiger generals, but of course with an added fantasy flair with the monsters and creatures that he battles. As such, it's not exactly a historically accurate title, but uses it more for flavor, but the action here is good and worth a play. Crucially however, the English translation is suspect, with it seeming to be okay for sections and then reverting to simplified Chinese characters, so you might want to wait until that is fixed, but it's an impressive action RPG title out of China for sure.
全军听令，冲锋！
An awesome roguelite platformer also made it out of early access in Oblivion Override, a game which I've been high on since its early access release last year, so if you don't play early access games and have been waiting, this is the time to jump in. You're controlling a ninja killer bot as you enter an enemy base and lay waste to all within, having some awesome animations and a great visual style, with a game feel similar to that of Dead Cells, so check it out if you love that game. They have done it again. The developers of the Momodora series are back with the 5th and last entry in the series titled Momodora Moonlit Farewell, which is a direct continuation of the story of Momodora 3 but works as a standalone title as well. Our Maple Leaf Building Priestess is on the hunt for a magical bell that was used by the villain to summon demons to attack her village, having good combat and pixel art, and is a great game. Here's a fairly popular farming sim that you might not even have heard about in Immortal Life, one with an ancient China setting and theme, in which you're doing farming sim things like growing crops, cooking, researching, crafting, building, exploring, and getting to know the locals. There's even a little bit more of an advanced combat system, but that is not the main draw, and also has some Chinese cultivation or wuxia elements like spells and magic. So for a different kind of farming game, give this one a go. My god, they have done it. Anomaly Agent is one of the most successful releases of the month with over 5,000 Steam reviews as of recording, which on the conservative side of estimation translates to more than 150,000 copies sold, which is fantastic, and is of note since a Turkish YouTuber with 1.3 million subscribers is part of the team and have developed an excellent cyberpunk action platforming experience with great action, and is one of the standout influencer plus game combinations that I have seen.
A dangerous fog corrupts the land. You are Flameborn, the last ember of hope to push back the Shroud. Like all heroic Flameborn, you will use your deadly sword skills to slay your enemies. That is not a sword. Okay, that's not a sword either. Oh, come on, you can't just punch everything. Well, however you decide to fight, Flameborn confront danger head-on. Wait, why are you sneaking around?
January was the month of the survival crafting genre, with the second place title being Enshrouded, one that is not so indie since it comes to us from a technically independent German developer that does have quite a large staff, but this game is no slouch by any means, having over 27,000 Steam reviews as of recording, which is very impressive work, and only looks to get bigger, in which this is a third-person action survival title in the vein of games like Valheim. Set in a medieval fantasy world, you are adventuring through the world and battling enemies, but also have to punch trees to gather resources to craft, upgrade and to build your base. Yes, it's all fairly standard stuff, but the physics and destructibility of the environments is impressive, since you can even do things like dig underground into a mountain and to use that underground cavern as your home base. It's pretty fun in that survival game kind of way, and definitely seems better with friends, being a fantastic first step, and I'll be keeping an eye on this. Here's another 1.0 release in the not-so-indie Blaze Blue Entropy Effect, a stylish roguelike platformer that uses characters from the Blaze Blue fighting game series, hence the asterisks, but even if you have no particular affinity for those characters or games, the action in this as a roguelite is worth picking up. It has super flashy, screen-filling animations, along with plenty of neon lights and futuristic vibes. I do think that it's smart to use these characters in genres outside of fighting games as a way to get even more mainstream crossover, so imagine a Metroidvania where you play as Sub-Zero or another roguelike platformer but with Street Fighter characters instead, so a man can dream, but in the meantime, this game is a testament to how it can work. I have not seen anything of the sort when it comes to Palworld, essentially Pokemon with guns, that came out of the gate swinging, where it was wild to see the reported sales numbers go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 10 million and counting, with the latest update on February the 1st being 12 million copies sold on Steam and 7 million on Xbox, which I presume the bulk of which are through Game Pass. Now that is impressive. As of recording, it is the number 2 game on Steam in terms of concurrent players, which is just behind Counter-Strike 2, which just got a major update, coming in at 690,000 and peaking at 2.1 million players on Steam. So to say that this is massive is an understatement. All of this coming from a technically independent and small Japanese studio, and you can see why it completely dominated the news cycle. I've spent some time with the game and did enjoy it, since while everyone talks about the Pokemon aspect, it plays nothing like those games, instead being more like Ark Survival Evolved in being a punching trees type of survival game, but adds in the monster taming element in which these creatures can help out with tasks around the base and can even equip guns to help in defense. I always have a soft spot for Pokemon, so this looks to be delivering what Game Freak can't or won't do, so good on the developers for doing so. there have been accusations of plagiarism and AI being used to make the game, which I don't believe is the case, even if the CEO is into that kind of thing. But as a survival game, this is fantastic and made even more accessible with the inclusion of these adorable monsters, and it's just chapter 1 of this story and we'll have to see how it unfolds. If you love creature collectors, watch this video for more upcoming games.